Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 48 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and we've got another pack of Oath of the Gatewatch. We've got a Nissa sitting here. We're going to open this pack, we're going to look through all the cards, and we're going to talk about what we would take pack one, pick one. And this is the third last Oath of the Gatewatch pack in 3 weeks, of course. We will not be doing a Crack Pack Tuesday because we'll be doing a set review for one of the colors of Shadows over Innistrad. I am super excited for that. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss out on those set reviews. But we're going to open this pack here of Oath of the Gatewatch while we're still drafting it and figure out what we would take pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. On top, we've got ourselves a Core Scythemaster. Core Scythemaster is 2 and a white for a 3/1 Core Soldier ally that has first strike when it's attacking. Pretty solid. It definitely fits right on into the white-black allies deck, or the red-white allies deck, or the white-anything allies deck for that matter, or the white-anything deck. 3/1 is a set of stats that I really like. I prefer it to be on a 2-mana creature, but always having first strike whenever it's attacking is super solid. Yeah, it doesn't block very well, but you're not a blocking deck if you're drafting 3/1s. Very happy with Scythemaster. I would never first pick it. There's no pack in existence, I hope, where this would be a first pick card, but totally main deckable and totally pickable a little bit later on. Next up, we have Comparative Analysis. Comparative Analysis is 3 and a blue for an instant. You can surge it for 2 and a blue if you previously cast a spell that turn, and you get to, target player, generally you, gets to draw 2 cards. So this is Inspiration, but sometimes it's instant speed divination with targeting ability. It's just never really come off for me. It's never quite gotten there. Divination is only good in some formats. It's not good in every format. Inspiration doubly so. So I'm just not a fan of Comparative Analysis. I would never first pick it. It's just completely out of the question. But even main decking it, I'm not terribly fond of. Next up, we have Eldrazi Aggressor. Eldrazi Aggressor is 2 and a red for a 2/3 with Devoid, and it has haste as long as you control another colorless creature. I kind of like Eldrazi Aggressor. I've gotten a lot of hate in the last couple of weeks. Not hate, that's a strong word, but a lot of people really questioning how highly I draft Eldrazi Aggressors. I really like them, and part of it is because I've been playing black-red aggressive colorless decks where this almost always has haste. It would be better, of course, if it was a 3/2. 2/3 is slightly defensive, but I am a fan of it. That being said, I would never first pick it. This is a mid to late pack pick. But yeah, Eldrazi Aggressor is fine. I generally main deck them if I'm red, unless I have something even more aggressive. But yeah, Eldrazi Aggressor, not first pick. Next up, we have Unnatural Endurance. Unnatural Endurance is a single black mana for an instant with Devoid. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Regenerate it. Totally fine combat trick. It saves you from some removal, although most of the removal, most might not be the right word. I don't know the exact breakdown, but a ton of removal, way more than normal, is exiling, or -X/-X, which will not be regenerated. The +2/+0 means that in combat, assuming there's no shenanigans, this usually gets its man. So it's a fine combat trick. It's a fine sort of 23rd card, but I don't look to actively main deck it. If I'm main decking it, it's because there's not really anything much better in my pool. Certainly not first pick, though. Next up, we have Pulse of Murasa. Pulse of Murasa is 2 and a green for an instant. Return target creature or land card, generally creature, from a graveyard to its owner's hand. It doesn't have to be yours. It can be your opponent's. You gain 6 life. There was a brief period of time where people were saying, oh, this is way better than you think it is. It's so much better than you think it is. Pros were saying, whoa, this card is great. And that really seems to have fallen off a little bit, as it should have. 6 life is a lot, yes, but it's still an entire card, and you have to have a creature sitting in the graveyard that you really want to get back and spend a card and 2 and a green on. I'm not a fan of Pulse of Murasa. If I really needed some life, if I really needed to stay in a game, I was up against a heavy beatdown deck, I might side it in, but I'm just never really happy to play this card, even out of the sideboard. I'm not a fan, certainly not first pick. Next up, we have Untamed Hunger. The hits just keep coming. Untamed Hunger, 2 and a black for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and has Menace. This is an aggressive card. This is meant to make aggressive decks just get in there and bash down. But you have to spend an entire turn, generally, and a card playing this on a creature that may just die, maybe even in response. It's so hard to justify auras unless they are brokenly awesome, and Untamed Hunger is certainly not. We don't really play Kitness Cloak, so why would we play Untamed Hunger, which is technically cheaper? Yeah, just no. Untamed Hunger, totally out. Next up, we have Kozilek's Pathfinder. Kozilek's Pathfinder is 6 generic mana. For a creature Eldrazi, it's a 5/5. You can pay a colorless mana to have target creature be unable to block Kozilek's Pathfinder this turn. This is a fine finisher if you didn't happen to get another finisher somewhere. In kind of a blue-black colorless deck, maybe a black-red colorless deck, but 6 mana is getting to be a little bit much for black-red. Yeah, it's a fine card. You'll know when you need this. It's certainly not a first-pick card, though. It's not a card you get excited about. It's a card where you say kind of, well, I'd better take this now because I don't have any way of finishing the game just yet. Yeah, Kozilek's Pathfinder, not a first pick. Next up, we have Spawnbinder Mage. Spawnbinder Mage is 3 and a white for a creature human wizard ally. It's a 2/4, and it's got Cohort, tap an untapped ally you control, tap target creature. Totally fine, although very defensive. If you have been assembling the amazing black-white life gain deck, you've got the Cliffhaven Vampires, you've got the... well, I guess you wouldn't have the healers or the emissaries just yet because they would be in the third pack. But if you're going down that route, then yeah, you might want to be defensive, and this card's amazing for that. In an aggressive deck, this card's very costly because you're wasting 2 creatures on tapping something down. Now, if you do that at the end of their end step and you're able to get through, sure, maybe, you're still probably not attacking with this, so you can do it again next turn unless it's the final turn. So I'm not super huge on Spawnbinder Mage. It is good, but I don't think it's first pickable in any real way, shape, or form. But it is totally fine. It is a high-ish pick, pick 4, pick 5, but not first pick. Well, this pack's decided, I assume. Oblivion Strike, 3 and a black for a sorcery. Exile target creature. It's got Devoid. This card is just insane. It's crazy that it's at common, which is a weird thing for me to say because we used to have Doomblade at common. Yeah, this is generally first pickable. This is better than probably every single other common in the set, most of the uncommons, and a really good chunk of the rares. Oblivion Strike is just a card that you should generally always first pick. Be careful because a lot of people know that, and a lot of people will try to get into black because, 4 people opened Oblivion Strike. Make sure that you still look at the packs. If there's no black in the deck except an Untamed Hunger, don't assume that you're the black drafter just because you first picked an Oblivion Strike. But if you can be the black drafter, Oblivion Strike is a great way to start. Next up, we have Goblin Freerunner. Goblin Freerunner is 3 and a red for a creature Goblin Warrior ally. It's a 3/2. It has Surge for 1 and a red if you cast a spell previously this turn. And it's got Menace. Nice aggressive creature, totally fine at 4 mana, fantastic at 2 mana. Now, of course, you're never going to cast this on turn 2, unless you do Bonesaw Freerunner, which I never, ever, ever recommend doing. But yeah, Goblin Freerunner, totally fine card, never really first pickable, but totally main deckable. On to the uncommons, we've got ourselves a Cyclone Sire. I haven't played with Cyclone Sire yet. I've played against it, and I don't really think I had much trouble with it, even though I probably should have. But it's a 3/4 flyer, and when it dies, you can put 3 +1/+1 counters on target land you control. If you do, the land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste that's still a land. So you awaken a land for 3. 3/4 flying is fine for 5. It's ever so slightly underpowered. You could maybe get a 4/4 flyer. That would be nice. But a 3/4 flyer is totally fine. And when it dies, it basically replaces itself. Now, it does make a land vulnerable, although by the time that happens, you should be at a point where it doesn't super matter if you lose 1 land. This card's generally first pickable, I think. I do like it. Blue's a little bit underpowered, a little bit weak currently in this format, but I would be okay first picking Cyclone Sire, I think. Next up, we have Void Grafter. Void Grafter is 1 green-blue for a creature Eldrazi drone. It's a 2/4. It has Devoid, it has Flash, and when it enters the battlefield, another target creature you control gains Hexproof until end of turn. You basically get to counter a removal spell. Your opponent targets something, you flash in Void Grafter and say, and you give that creature Hexproof, and their spell fizzles. Maybe you do this to prevent an ability or something, although that's a weaker way of doing it. This is a totally fine card to be in green-blue. Unfortunately, green-blue's not a good combo. You don't super want to be in there, and you definitely don't want to first pick this and go down that route. Yeah, Void Grafter, fine enough card if you happen to have found yourself in that color combination, but totally not first pickable. Next up, we have a Stoneforge Acolyte. Stoneforge Acolyte is a single white mana for a creature core artificer ally. It's a 1/2, and it's got Cohort. Tap an untapped ally you control. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an equipment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Bad. A 1 mana 1/2 is not good. You don't ever want to play that. And a 1 mana 1/2 that searches for equipment when there's basically no equipment that you should be playing in this entire format is bad. Don't take this, don't play it. It should generally be last pick. Our rare is Deceiver of Form. Deceiver of Form is a 6 colorless mana creature Eldrazi. It's an 8/8 for that 7 mana. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, reveal the top card of your library. You must. It's not a may. If a creature is revealed this way, you may have creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until end of turn. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. So be aware of that. You must reveal, you may copy, and you may put it on the bottom. Be aware of that. That's come up a few times. Yeah, this is a fun card. I've seen some really fun stuff, including a league match where I stole this from my opponent with Eldrazi Obligator on my main phase, and then flipped a Reality Smasher and made all of my creatures into Reality Smashers and won. Clearly. Yeah, very fun card, but it's costly. Now, taking it pack 1, pick 1 is the perfect place to do that. You can get the ramp, you can get the colorless mana to make sure that you can cast this, and you can have a lot of fun with this guy. A lot of fun. So definitely first pickable, and it makes for some really good stories throughout the night, which is something I put some value into, at least at an FNM. So yeah, Deceiver of Form. No foil, no expedition, of course. We have 2 packs left for me to get an expedition, or else I just never will. So this pack, we're looking at Deceiver of Form, as we just discussed. We are looking at Cyclone Sire, and we are looking at, of course, Oblivion Strike. Now this is interesting, and this would depend where I was playing. This would depend when I was playing. This would depend partly on my mood that day. Cyclone Sire is out. I think it's just out. It's fine, it's decent, but it doesn't compare to these 2 cards. Now, if I was at FNM, Deceiver of Form slightly edges out because it's a more casual environment, the competition level is a little bit lower, and I'm probably there to relax and have some fun. If I want to have some fun, Deceiver of Form gets even higher. Now, if I'm at a GP, day 2, if I'm at a Pro Tour, if I'm at a PTQ, a GP, anything, Oblivion Strike jumps way up. Way up. Almost out of frame there now that I look at the camera. If I'm looking to win, Oblivion Strike is way up. So I don't know what I would take here. I have not played with Deceiver of Form outside of the time that I stole it. So I would probably take Deceiver of Form. If this was FNM, this pack, I would take Deceiver of Form. Oblivion Strike is probably the more correct choice, however, I think. But definitely let me know what you would think of this pack. This is probably one of the most interesting packs that I think we've had for the Gatewatch so far. Would you have taken the Deceiver? Would you have taken the Oblivion Strike? Or would you have taken the Sire or something else? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, you can let me know by clicking the little eye, the little card up in the top right-hand corner and choosing the poll answer there. What would you have taken? If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can, of course, find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. And you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/The Mana Leak. You've already found me here on YouTube. You've got the comment section down below. Please make use of that. As well, if you enjoy my videos, please click that little thumbs up icon. That lets me know that you like my videos. That lets the world know that you like my videos and keeps my videos rising up through the ranks. As well, if you haven't subscribed, you should. There's a link below each video. There's one in the outro of each video. And clicking that and subscribing will keep you up to date on all the latest videos as they pop up here and or there. We have only 2 weeks until the Shadows over Innistrad set reviews will be starting. You don't want to miss those, so make sure that you are subscribed. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.